guys, welcome back. I recently got a question that made me smile, and I had to share it with you guys. Prior to finding your channel, I felt isolated and alone in my employment lawsuit. How did you stay so patient and tolerant? Any advice? I am a fairly patient person these days, but I wouldn't have said that about myself when I first started this fight, and neither would anyone who knew me. Working at NASA, I learned to be determined and resourceful because failure really isn't an option there. And it was a super fast pace, so it felt like every assignment was due yesterday. So patience, yeah, that was optional for us. Have you guys heard that saying to never pray for patience because all you'll get is a chance to practice? Well, I believe that, so I never prayed for patience. But even though I never asked for it, life gave me plenty of chances to practice anyway with this fight. When I realized that I was going to have to go to EEOC and that this fight was going to take me years, I knew that I had to work to develop some patience or I was going to crash and burn. My husband Doug is the most patient person I've ever met, which explains how he's been able to put up with me all these years. He's a genuinely kind person and he has a really good heart, but he's not afraid to call out BS or ask questions or set boundaries when he needs to. And through it all, he stays steady. I mean, it takes a lot to make him mad. It's possible, and once you do it, you better look out.
He's gonna blow!
So when I needed to learn to be patient without becoming a doormat, I took a page from Doug's book. Whenever I'd catch myself feeling a little too emotional and needed to reel myself in, I'd ask myself, what would Doug do? And if I wasn't sure, I'd call him up and ask him, hey, what would you do in this situation? So today, I'm going to take a little time and share some of the things that Doug taught me about patience with you guys.
Try to look calm, even when you're freaking out inside.
Bringing a bunch of emotion into this fight only makes it harder. Steady as she goes makes it easier.
Always pause to observe and think before you react.
So you don't do or say anything that you'll regret later.
Choose your battles wisely.
And walk away from the ones that are only going to drain your time and energy or make the situation you're in even worse.
Say what you mean and get right to the point.
The more clear and concise you can be, the less chance that you're going to escalate the situation or say something that's going to bite you later. And most importantly,
don't take it personally, even when it feels personal.
And I guarantee you sometimes it will feel that way. Often I had to remind myself that the things NASA was saying and doing to retaliate against me had nothing to do with me. They would have done the same things to anybody who complained, because that's who they were. Now, I always knew all of that in my head, but not being a naturally patient person, it can be hard not to react. Not to take things personally. Not to engage. Not to spill your guts. Not to say everything you think. It can be hard to do nothing when you really feel like you need to be doing something. So I decided ahead of time what I was going to do in situations where I felt like that. I was going to document whatever was happening. Most of the time that meant follow-up emails and carefully worded questions like I'm always talking about here on the channel. And occasionally when I was feeling super emotional, I'd send Doug a draft and ask him for comments. What do you think about what I'm saying here? Is there a better way to say it? Am I saying something that's going to make the situation worse? Usually he'd take a few minutes and give me some feedback. And in return, I took a lot of care not to dump my emotions on him. I treated him the same way I treated my colleagues at NASA, with professional courtesy and respect. Before this fight, I used to think that patience meant just learning to make your peace with a lot of waiting around. But now I know it's bigger than that. Patience is about learning to sit with our uncomfortable feelings in situations we hate and try to get through it with as much good faith and grace as we can muster. That gets easier with practice and with the right people in your corner. So I hope you all have someone in your corner. If you don't, a therapist is a good start, and you can also check the description for some forums and groups that I'll link. And recently I started a meta group for the channel. It's for both federal and private sector workers. A bunch of you have been asking for a while where you can go to meet, share your stories, and support each other. I'm hoping to set up some group chats once we have enough members for that to make sense, and I hope to see some of you guys over there. Meanwhile, see you in the next one. Till then, take care and hang in.